Hello guys, welcome to this video, and today I'm gonna create the ultimate Coflnet guide so you can make money by flipping skyblock items like these necrotic storm boots or something similar like that. And we're gonna start on with how to use Coffle. Now there are multiple ways of using Coffle. In general, you here have the flipping hub. This has about everything you can think about when flipping in skyblock. For example, what I like to do is getting craft flips. You can get the craft flips here. You may need a subscription to see the best craft flips, but if you don't have a subscription, you can still see most of them, and it will show you exactly what to do and how much profit you can get. Yeah. There are many flips you can try about everything, but what I do recommend for Coffle is that you actually use the mod in game for a better convenience. You can do this right here at the mod tab. When you're there, you can download the mod. The easiest way to install the mod, since this is more or less outdated, 1.8.9 is no longer supported by Hypixel. I recommend downloading the mod from Modrinth for the newest Skyblock version, and then you can always just download the latest version by clicking download. You select your game version. Usually this is 1.21.11, but you should know which version of the game you have installed, and then you're gonna use Fabric since all of the other ones are outdated. Then you can download the mod right here. You have it downloaded. You can move it into your instance. For example, I use Prism Launcher. You should know how to install a mod, of course. This is just any regular mod. You can just paste it in here, but I already have it. I mean, I have the old version. I guess I could delete it, but I already have the game launched for the later part of the guide. So yeah. Then you have the mod installed. I'm gonna delete it for now because else there will be a bit of issues. You're also gonna need the Fabric API to use the mod. So you can always just search Fabric API download, and it will also lead you to Modrinth, I think. Oh no, CurseForge will. Oh, it's on both, I think. What is Legacy Fabric API? Anyways, I know that this one works as far as I know. So you just download that, and then you can go here, Fabric. Well, that's the only one there is, you know. You can just download the latest version here too, and put it into your mods folder. But since I'm just using old versions right now, this does not really apply to me right now. The next thing I want to cover is the Coflnet mod in game. So I have an instance of Minecraft started here. If we go onto Hypixel, we can join Skyblock and then enable the Coflnet mod. We can do this. Wait, really quickly, let me go to the private island. We can enable the Coflnet mod with /Coffle start. It will then start a connection right here, and it may even give you a captcha at first. Now, the captcha, it really depends. If you start it, then it may be a different captcha, like this one, and it may look like shit. It doesn't make sense whatsoever, and that's what these green lines are here for. These green lines, like it says down here, click if green lines do not line up. If these do not line up, you click it, then you check which of the yellow lines aligns with the green line. For example, for me, it would be this one here, and then needs to be above the green line, needs to be below the green line. No, this is not the case. If one of the two yellow lines, so we're gonna click this one, click on the yellow line that aligns with the green line. That would, for example, be this one. And now both lines align with the green line, I think. Maybe this very slightly doesn't, I'm not really sure, but it should be fine. Then it's gonna create a new captcha, and that should look a lot better. Here, it is now asking us to look for the letter S, which in my opinion is this one, and then we click it, and then we are a real user. Alright, so the next thing is Coflnet flips. If you do /Coffle flip, I just turned them off. You can do Coffle flip always if you want to have flips always enabled. Or you can Coffle flip never if you never want to have flips enabled when you start up the mod. So if I do this and then I Coffle start again, Oh look, there's a flip here it already sold though. Unfortunately, if I started it now, I think the flips would be... Holy shit, what is this? New flips for the last days. Oh, I didn't even know that existed. Holy shit, that's bad. Anyways, yeah, to buy a flip, this is best done with the keybinds in-game. So if you go here to the keybinds, there will be a section for Coflnet. So here, you can do the best next flip. I have this bound to G, and whenever I hold G, you see there's no best flip available. So when there is a flip incoming like this one, and I hold the G button, which I can also see when the flip countdown starts, what the hell is this? Then there will be a little countdown on the screen. Why is there noise everywhere, bro? Alright, what is this? There will be a little countdown. I think you can toggle it with Coffle countdown. No. Oh, mod countdown. And then it will always show it on the screen when the next flips are about to arrive. And you can hold down the keybind to buy the flips. You can also set the GUI to the Coffle GUI. So /Coffle set GUI Coffle. It now turns the overlay into the Coffle overlay, so you can buy items faster. For example, if we go here on the armadillo, you see I can just click everywhere to just buy it. Like I clicked in the middle of my screen and I purchased it. However, I don't need this armadillo, so I'm gonna kill it. Yep, that's real unfortunate. Anyways, now there are much more than auction house flips though. For the auction house flips, by the way, you get an automatic price recommendation, so maybe it wasn't best to avoid that. For example, if we buy here another item, I don't know, is there anything that is like a regular skyblock item? Lapis boots, yeah. If we buy those and we list them, we always get a recommendation by default from Coffle. So you will see here that Coffle will suggest 49,000 coins. So if we just click the item price, it will automatically enter it and create the auction. I mean, it won't create the auction automatically. I did that, but it recommended the price. And then we have to do more or less nothing else. We just buy and sell according to what Coffle says is the best thing to do. Now, the good thing is you don't need to do this boring stuff. Coffle has a shit ton of features. Like we saw on the website right here. There are so many flips, and more or less all of these are replicatable in-game. So let's see. Let's make this browser window a little bit smaller. For example, we can do /Coffle cat. Okay, maybe we can't do Coffle cat. That's I thought I was a commander, I swear, but apparently not. But anyways, you can replicate these. I think there is it maybe /Coffle pet? What? Okay. Anyways, there are cat flips on the website. A command I know exists though is /Coffle craft, and that will show us the best craft flips. For example, if we look here, you can craft a blood god sigil. It will give us the recipe here. You can, if you have a booster cookie, just click it. 32 enchanted, so you buy 32. Then you need 64 enchanted baked potato, so just a stack. And then you need 1 blood god crest. You can just buy that on the auction house. Then you can claim it, and then you can craft the item. It shows the recipe, but if you have quick craft, you can just do quick craft with it. You can also open the recipe here, and you can, for example, use quick craft, or you just craft it manually if you don't have that. But I don't actually have VIP in this account, so we're gonna remember enchanted cooked pork chops in the edges. Then here we have baked potatoes all around it. So we go to the crafting table, enchant the baked potatoes. We're here, I think. And then we have those right here. And in the middle we have the black god crest. Then we have that, and that is worth a lot more. Coffle recommends a price again. And then you can just leave it listed here. I'm gonna do for 2 days, and that was a flip of, I don't know, like 5 mil. The good thing is it also shows us the profit. If we hover over it, 4.41 million profit without fees, but the fees aren't that high, so it's still a good flip. There are many other flips, for example, the Bazaar flips, /Coffle Bazaar. Many flips you can do. For example, right now you could buy enchanted flint. You can make a buy order, I don't know, for 64. Wait for it to fail and flip it, like how Bazaar flips work. Of course, you can also, I think in the Bazaar you get an overlay of the best flips and you can replicate those. This is more or less the same. These are averaged out, though I don't think this is a very good flip because it's quite volatile and the volume is probably not very good. Jacob's tickets, I like to flip Jacob's tickets. It's very stable, there's a good demand and everything. And there are also many more flips. For example, /Coffle Forge, I think, should give you the best Forge flips. And you can replicate all of those in the Forge. I don't know if I have the Forge Warp here, yes. And you can passively make money with Coffle very easily. There's Mayor flips, NPC flips, reverse NPC flips, so you can see everything where you have to go to the NPCs and so on. I'm not sure why this isn't loading. Anyways, you can try about everything. Coffle has something for everyone. You can flip almost everything. But in my opinion, the main focus of Coffle is and will stay the auction house flips. And that's why I'm going to show you how to make a config, because maybe, as you know, I am Tuxedo. And Tuxedo has a little config that is called Tuxedo config. I think it's on the second page here. Right here. It's a free config. You can just buy it, I think, for 0 coins, and then you can load it. You can always load it with /coffle load config Tuxedo config, or you can just click this button because it's 0 coins. Alright, and I will now show you how to configure, or rather how to understand the filter system of Coffle configs. So we're gonna really quickly make this big here. On the item flipper, first of all, we have the very simple settings. Min profit, this should be logical to most of you. It's just a minimum profit of flips that are incoming. This does not mean that every flip in a config that you bought or use is exactly a min profit of that. It could also be lower profit, or it could be much higher, but min profit, of course, doesn't block flips higher than it. Then we have min profit percentage. Here it applies the same. The thing is, all of these variables here can be used as variables in filters. I will show that to you in a second. But here we have min volume. This is the minimum volume per day here in 24 hours. For example, right now, this wouldn't make very much sense to the average user because there are barely any flips with 5 million profit and 80 volume. Maybe some snipes for 500 coins that are worth, like, I don't know, not even God pods. What is 80 volumes and sells so much? Maybe Shadow Assassin armor, clean Shadow Assassin armor, Wither armor, stuff like that. But as I said, we can use these all as variables. So then here we have only bin auctions, of course. If you don't want bin or if you want regular auctions, like, you know, in the auction house, when you go and use auctions only, these are auctions. And if you do only bin auctions, you will not see any of those. I think you have auctions only, yeah. So this is an auction. Of course, the starting bid for this does not make sense at all because, well, nobody's gonna bid that much. It should all be bin, but I don't think you realize that he made them as auctions and probably nobody's going to bid on them. Anyways, yeah, most people prefer to have only bin enabled, but some people may want to regularly auction flip. Now, here we have some settings like the flip finders. The flipper is usually a bit slower flip finder. It also finds auctions, but you can disable it if you use only bin. The sniper is way faster, but maybe a bit less accurate, although it's probably not less accurate, no. It's faster, but it doesn't find as much as the flipper finds. Smaller flips may not be found by the sniper. That's why people use both of them. So also the sniper median, it's like the sniper, but it's based on the median. The median, by the way, is very simple. if we have numbers, you can read it here on Wikipedia. This graphic probably explains it pretty well. It's not the middle. It's like, for example, if you have 10 people that have $5,000 and you have 5 that have $50,000, the median will still be more biased. Wait, what did I say? Anyways, median is more accurate for observations by not using the average. For example, the GDP per capita is based on more or less the average instead of the median, because the median GDP would be way lower because a few people have very much, and that biases the GDP per capita of the USA, for example, to go much higher. That's how it works. It just makes more sense by ignoring extremes. So example, if a Hyperion sold for 50 coins, it is way less in the price calculation than the regular Hyperions because it's like one slippage. Anyways, yeah. Then we have the TFM finder. I don't know if this finder even finds anything. I'm not sure. I don't think so. Stonks is a finder that isn't really meant for stable flips. It's more or less made to find everything that is not found via the other finders but could be flips. So it says here too, this is under active development and will occasionally overvalue flips. And then we have Bazaar, of course. This is for Bazaar flips. You can get Bazaar flips with the /Cofl get Bazaar flips command. And that's the Bazaar finder. That's the premium Bazaar flips. You can only use it if you premium because it's the best Bazaar flips based on more data than regular Bazaar flips. Now, here we have a few options. This is just for how the filters show. You can import config files. You can update configs if you release a config. You have to first ask Ahrefs and so on, and then you can do that. Now, the complicated part of making a config is the filter rules. As you can see, this is my config. It's quite big. It's public. You can change everything. You can distribute it. You can use it. The only rule is that people have access to it, and it's free if you modify it and release it. Now, let's make the simplest stuff here, or the stuff that is the most relevant to flippers, which is here what I have titled the base settings. These are settings that are basically my whole config, the base of the whole config. And that is some volume filters and some profit per hour filters, which are, I think, probably somewhere here. Yeah. This is just so that if I buy an item, for example, for 3 million profit with 8%, if it doesn't sell over 7 hours, what the fuck am I saying? If it doesn't sell over 7 times a day, do not show the flip to me, because I am scared that it will sell too less and may not sell at all, and then it's not worth having it on the auction house because it takes too long, and flips that could otherwise sell faster may don't have space, you know. This is basically the same for everything here. It's just so I don't buy too small flips with too low volume and they may not sell. Here are some time of day and day of week filters. So example, this is the filters are best explained by just looking at it. So if I do UTC hour of day, it's explained here how it works, and then of course also the day of week is also explained here. Sunday is 0, so example, this is 1 till 5, so I think Monday to Friday. It loosens the config up a bit during the dry hours, which is from in Austria's time 7 to 14 or 2 p.m. and in America's time it's like the night. Now then we have the stuff, the filters that in my opinion matter a bit more, and that is right here, profit per hour filters. This just uses how long does it, like there's a filter I think called time to sell, average time to sell. You can filter how long that flip usually takes to sell. And the profit per hour is basically how much profit per hour is it? So the profit and how long it took to sell. So this is a very good base for configs, because you can directly say, I only want flips that make that much coins per hour. If it makes less than that, filter it out. And this is mostly based on the median. Time to sell is generally based on the median and not on the lowest bin. So I only use this in Tuxedo config for median found flips. Now we have something that every config maker has to know, and that is force blacklists. And there are very many here in Tuxedo config. Most of those are just temporarily blacklisted. I haven't removed it. For example, I can remove this. I can remove this. I can remove this, I think. I can also remove the shadow locker now. This, and not the witch pad, not yet. And there are automatic blacklists too. So, force blacklist. What is a force blacklist? It forces the blacklist. So no matter what happens, flips that have a force blacklist will not come through. For example, if I force blacklist any Necron's leggings, so let's say Necron's leggings with a profit under 5 million, it will, if there's a whitelist, it will let them through anyways. But if I add a force blacklist, I am forcing it to blacklist. I'm not allowing it to come through in any case. And if I save that, no more Necron's leggings under 5 million profit. This is essential for config makers because there is just some stuff you don't want. For example, I do not care about Guardian chest plates. Because there was an incident with craft cost, that's also a finder here. It's very, very, how can I say, very unstable because it doesn't matter on the market price. It's based on the actual craft cost of the item. And then there's like swords, like Jerry swords with fucking, expensive enchants, or runes that are very expensive, multiple 100 millions, and those make the items more valuable theoretically, but that doesn't mean that someone will buy them for that price, and that can cause bad flips. Now, do we have anything that is also really important, but not clearly explained? Yeah, we do. User Finder. If you enable this finder, you may think, what is this finder? I don't know what this finder means. Now, I'm not gonna enter the finder here because it may cause some issues with the config, because there may be some max costs in here, and that is what the user finder is. It basically says, I want this item, for example, let's say Warden Helmet, and I want the max cost of the Warden Helmet to be 80 million coins. Is this 80 million? 1, 2, 3? No, one more zero. Yeah. Basically, if I want every Warden Helmet that has Legion 3 to 5, if it's under 80 million, give me that item. This is User Finder. You say, alright, if this auction costs under that many coins with X, Y in the filter, anything that's in here, give me that flip. This is a flip, I want to have it. These flips may not show profit in the game, but it's just you saying this flip is profit, or I want to buy this. This has nothing to do with Coffle. This is merely just you deciding if that item is a flip. Do we have anything else that I may need to explain here? You see, I have many whitelists that are just starting bit under XY. That's also user finder theoretically, but other finders can of course find it if it is also a flip. So be aware of that. Let's see, do we have, these are old crystal finders by the way. You can find by dyes, by hex and so on. hex color list. You know, there you can add multiple hexes. There's fairy color, there's dye items. You can search for exotics. You can do about everything with Coffle. You can find every single auction and you can filter for everything. There's just so much that you just have to kind of try around. If you want to blacklist a flip, you will figure out how to blacklist a flip. It's really quite simple. Oh, also the enchanted flip was filled, so we claim it, and then we just sell it, and it's I think coins. You see here, basically double coins, guys. And that's Coffle. There are so many filters. You just have to try around. If there is something you need and it doesn't already exist, you go into the Discord. You see here, there's a Discord link. You go into there, you make a suggestion for it, or a bug report if something is off with the mod, and you will likely have success in having that happen. There is so much to be done with Coffle. You can do about everything. You can just execute the Coffle command. Oh, what? What? Anyways, okay, in Fabric it actually shows you every command that there is. And there are a lot of commands. You can do a lot. Coffle worst flips. There I can see my worst flips. My worst flips were tier boost and a witch and a tier boost. If there's anything or you need help, just ask in the Discord. There are tons of helpful people. There's a support channel. Yeah, right. There's also different premium tiers. Maybe I should have explained that. Basically, if you buy Premium Plus, you will get the fastest flips. If you buy Premium, you will still get good flips. Starter, maybe you can buy some decent flips. Free, you have more or less every command, but you may not get the really good flips. Yeah, that's about it. If you have any questions, just ask. And that's a full coffee guide. Holy shit, that's 27 minutes.